Welcome to another edition of the Digicel Sports Show right here on Islandstats. I'm your host, Earl Baston, and joining me yet again is co-host Jason Juggling J. Ford. Jay, it's been a wonderful weekend of sports. Your thoughts on all the sports throughout and what you're looking forward to in this particular show?
Well, once again, Earl, here on the island, we have a lot of sports containing our youth all the way up to our masters. But mostly importantly of all, this weekend, we've had our international teams on the international stage making us all proud here. So I think it's something that we should be proud of as Bermudians, but also as sports enthusiasts.
Well, we'll be back after this brief message from our sponsor with cricket, football, triathlon, and many, many more.
Why choose Digicel Prepaid? Well, you get free social media usage, which means you can use Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and WhatsApp for free without it affecting your data allowance. And for all your other online activity, we have the cheapest prepaid data in Bermuda. Digicel, best choice for prepaid.
Well, Jay, today in action is the Bermuda national cricket team taking on Denmark over in Los Angeles, Division 4, their third match. Hopefully today will be a better result.
Well, Earl, the first two matches were very different in both matches. One was reduced. The second match was reduced to 40 overs. Two different lineups. But I think it goes back to what we have said prior to this show. A team still searching for the identity. And I don't think the coach really has the idea of what his best 11 is. But in saying that, these guys are giving the best and they made at least a good game out of it yesterday.
Well, let's get a report on how they made out in the first two games. Over the first two games, Bermuda have scored a total of 374 runs, losing 19 wickets, while giving up 376 runs and taking only 8 wickets. Dion Stovall thus far has been the top individual game scorer with 56 runs. Kamal Levrock scored 47, Stephen Bremer added 42, and O.J. Pitcher, Bermuda's captain, scored 30. Only Greg Mabry has taken more than 1 wicket in a game going into today's match. Well, as we said, Jay, today the team is taking on Denmark, and later on Islandstats we'll have the final result on how they made out. Hopefully it's a positive result.
Well, the difference between the two matches, the early order batting lineup, quite different. The first game, we was able to knock the ball around, pick up some singles, which put us under pressure, especially in the middle order. The second game, we put Levrock up top, along with Miners, they actually was able to accelerate the run rate and got off to quite a good start. Had like a 5 running over for quite a while throughout that match. So I think the decision for today's match is which way do we go again, because I think a lot of the dot balls or the balls that hadn't been played or hadn't been made any runs off of, I think puts a lot of pressure on the middle order. Unfortunately, the second match, the middle order didn't really produce at all. Between Dion Stovall, Gennaro Tucker, and the captain O.J. Pitcher, only combined for 8 runs. I think that was the letdown. But overall, if you look at C.J. Outerbridge, I mean, he's a player that was just getting to the St. David's squad this year. Didn't make cup match, but I think he'll be one of the ones we need to watch out for years coming for this Bermuda squad.
Not only is Bermuda struggling, but I was talking to you off air just before we started about the fact that in 2009, Bermuda was one of 3 teams from the Americas region that were in Division 1, playing in the World Cup. But years later, we see all 3 teams, Bermuda and USA in Division 4, Canada and Canada in Division 3. So it's doom and gloom, but for the entire region sort of thing. A lot of people would look at it and say Bermuda needs to quit, Bermuda needs to get out, but it's a regional issue that needs addressing.
Well, I think not only regional, it's just like the team we're playing today is Denmark. They were up there amongst Division 1 and Division 2 for a little while also. So I just think what happens is that when countries are not getting the resources that ICC, that's one of the problems they're having with ICC, similar to FIFA at the time, was dispersing monies and resources. Now we're seeing an overload of resources and money going towards the USA. You would expect them to be in a lot better position than we are here on the island, having the resources, having the pool of players, and they're in the same division that we're in. So we got to look at it as a whole. Yes, we can do a lot more here on the island ourselves, but as a whole, These smaller associate countries, they need the extra resources, the extra funding, the extra coaching, all the other things that these bigger countries are getting.
Well, from one national sport to another, the under-20 national football team advanced and then finished third in the CONCACAF under-17 World Cup qualifiers. Let's get that report. The Bermuda under-20 national team finished third in the qualifying competition of the 2017 CONCACAF Under-20 Championships in Curacao after defeating Trinidad and Tobago 2-1. A seesaw battle in the first 45 minutes saw Bermuda go to the break 1-0 up after a strike in the 43rd minute from Norrie Scott. In the 48th minute, Trinidad and Tobago got the equalizer, but Bermuda would take a 2-1 lead when Mikhail Thomas would score after only being on the field for 7 minutes in the 87th minute. That goal would prove to be the winner. Well, Jay, there you have it. The under-20s moving to the next round, going up against what we consider the bigger boys of the region and the world, for that matter. You had the likes of USA, Mexico, and Canada, and so forth.
Well, once again, we just talked about it. I mean, it's amazing what we could do with a limited resource base. But these kids, now I can't even say kids anymore, these young men have been together for quite a while. And we can see once we get a decent structure put in place, we put some money behind them. And a good thing is now a lot of these kids are abroad in school. Some are playing in England. So they're bringing that expertise back to the squad. And Coach Lightbourne, I'm pretty sure if you're standing here right now, we probably have a hard time getting anything out of him because all he'll be doing is smiling.
Well, without a doubt, this team here was put together some years ago and have worked together. The friendships, the camaraderies and all that went through the under-17s, now through the under-20s. We look for positive things coming 2017 when they go to take on the rest of the world. Then to the local front. Let's go to the report for the Premier and First Division, as well as Corona League and our overseas players report. At the PHC Stadium in Premier Division play, the PHC Zebras defeated Devonshire Colts 4-1. Sequoia Robinson scored twice, with Rakeem DeShields and Trey Ming adding a goal each. Kyle Jones scored the lone goal for Devonshire Colts. At the White Hill Field, the Somerset Eagles and Somerset Trojans played to a 1-1 draw, with Rashawn Seaman scoring for the Eagles and Jonathan Bean scoring for the Somerset Trojans. At Police Field, the Boulevard Blazers defeated the Dandytown Hornets 3-2. Ian Cook would secure a hat-trick for the Boulevard Blazers, while Angelo Simmons and Jamal Swan would score for the defending league champions. Shane Hollis would score the lone goal for the North Village Rams as they defeated the Flanagan's Onions at the BAA Field. And on Saturday night at the BAA Field, Robin Hood and Devonshire Cougars played to a scoreless draw. In First Division play up at the PHC Stadium, Young Man Social Club defeated BAA 4-3. Clay Darrell would score a hat-trick for Young Man Social Club and Raymond Burgess would add the other. Jakari Furbett would score twice for BAA, with Tyrell Burgess scoring the other. A single goal from Timon Daniels earned Crossroads a 1-0 win over the St. George's Colts at the Garrison Field. Ezekiel Stoneham scored 2 goals in the 83rd and 84th minutes as Southampton Rangers defeated Island Rangers 2-0 at Malabar. At Southampton Oval, the Paget Lions and visiting Wolves played to a scoreless draw, while at the Wellington Oval, St. David's defeated Hamilton Parish 2-1. St. David's got goals from Conniff Burton and Marcus Proctor, while Tariq Webb scored for Hamilton Parish. Turning to Corona League, it was Robin Hood 2, West End United 1, Vasco 2, 40 Kings 0. Overseas, Nikki Wells and his Huddersfield teammates went down 5-0 to Fulham. Rai Simons was not part of the Chesterfield team that went down 1-0 to Charlton. Reggie Lamb was an unused substitute as his Carlisle teammates defeated Crawley Town 3-1. Well, Jay, in the report we saw defending champions Dandytown Hornets going down yet again. This time giving up a 2-1 lead and going down to the Boulevard Blazers up at the Police Field 3-2. Your thoughts on Western Star Sports Club?
Well, last week I didn't think it was time to panic. Certainly it was 2 games in. This is the 3rd game. I think they've got another game. I'm going to give them one more game. Because they have the talent, Earl. And that's the main thing. They have the talent. And that's what's so surprisingly how they're in the position that they're in. They have the talent. What is it exactly? Because, like I said, you have the MVP, you have the Young Player of the Year. It's hard to put I'm pretty sure if anybody knew the answer to this question right now, they'll please tell somebody around at Western Star Sports Club. But in saying that, these players know, if players from Boulevard, they know these Danny Town players quite well. So there is no fear in competition. They love the competition, as you can see. Once, we've said this for many years on other shows, once Ian Coke comes into a season and motivated, it's hard to stop.
Well, for the Boulevard Blazers, they still have young Tyvince Douglas to come back into the field. He's been out injured since the start of the season. And speaking to him the other day, he's on the mend and hopefully be back at the start of the new year to help give Boulevard Blazers that extra push. Olympian Julian Fletcher competed in 3 World Cup events over in Asia, breaking 3 national records. Let's get that report. They say when you're on fire, you're on fire. The 2016 FINA Short Course World Cup Series ended with Bermuda Olympian Julian Fletcher breaking 3 Bermuda national records. He broke the national record in the 50-meter breaststroke in a time of 28:65 while competing in Singapore. He then broke that record while competing in Hong Kong, clocking 28:50. He also broke the 100-meter breaststroke with a record time of 1:01:57. His 1:01:57 put him into the final. Fletcher says, "My goal going into the 3 events was to make a final. I'm pleased with my results and 3 national records, but I feel I could have improved if given the chance to swim a second time in all my events." I qualified for the finals at the last stop in Hong Kong in the 100-meter breaststroke, and as the first Bermudian to swim in a World Cup final is really a special achievement, end quote. Well, Flora Duffy, she finished second in the Island Home Triathlon meet in Bahamas, which is a 3-day event. It consists of various different disciplines over the 3 days, but to finish second, a remarkable feat for young Flora Duffy.
I'm trying to figure out where does she get all this energy from, traveling across the globe and still producing the goods and putting our island on the map.
Well, later on we have a surprise because we'll be able to ask her just that. So let's get the report from Flora Duffy in Bahamas and the AON National Championships at Southside on Sunday. Flora Duffy finished second in the Island House Triathlon, a 3-day event in the Bahamas. Competing in the women's pro division, Duffy finished 18 seconds behind American and gold medalist at the 2016 Olympic Games, Gwen Jorgensen, who clocked an overall time of 3:55 even. Duffy clocked 3:55.18 with Holly Lawrence from Great Britain finishing in third with a time of 3:56.17. Duffy was in second place following the individual Stage 1 time trial after clocking a time of 57:28. She then finished the Enduro second stage in second place after stopping the clock in a time of 2 hours and 20 seconds. Jorgensen recorded a winning time of 1:59.11. The third and final stage was a sprint, which Duffy won, clocking a time of 57:29. Meanwhile, on the local front, Matthew Oliveira and Karen Smith are the 2016 AON National Sprint Championships male and female champions following the event at Clearwater Beach on a sunny Sunday morning. Oliveira, who was second out of the water, powered his way to the front on the bike before finishing a strong run, clocking a time of 1:03.35. Jonathan Herron was second overall and first out of the water. He clocked a time of 1:06.52. Matt Thompson rounded out the top 3 male individual finishers, clocking a time of 1:08.47. Smith was the 7th person across the line. She was trailing Lindsey Palmer out of the water, but her superior bike strength allowed her to power away from Palmer and hold off a challenge from Ashley Estwanik. She clocked a winning time of 1:09.38. Estwanik was the second female finisher and 10th overall for a time of 1:11.58, and Palmer finished 2 spots back with a time of 1:13.50.
It can be difficult choosing the right amount of data to fit your life. With Data Test Drive from Digicel, you can. Take us for a spin with any postpaid smartphone plan, and we'll give you all you can use data for the first 3 months of your agreement. When you come to the end of your 3 months, we'll let you know if you need more data on your plan and give you the option to increase your data allowance. Plus, our postpaid plans now include unlimited international SMS and increased international long distance minutes. Digicel. Be extraordinary.
Tennis action at the Coral Beach and Tennis Club came to a conclusion in the 2016 Clay Court National Championships Day over on Saturday. Ashley Brooks, Josh Levine eventually came out as champions in the male and female divisions. Great to see young Ashley back.
And that was probably the highlight of my weekend when I saw Ashley back in contention and obviously winning the title. I mean, through the years, we followed her footsteps from juniors all the way up to seniors and always loved her temperament to the game, always loved her love for the game, and to see her back on the podium winning a title, it's nice.
Well, she had to dig deep, and so did Levine. So let's get that report. The 2016 Bermuda National Clay Court Championships came to an end at the Coral Beach and Tennis Club. In the men's singles final, former Duke University men's tennis player Josh Levine defeated Gavin Manders in straight sets 6-2, 7-5. The pair began trading serves, but Levine, who picked up the winning check of $2,000, had to dig deep in the second set after finding himself down 4-1. Manders picked up the $500 runners-up check. In the ladies' final, Monique Dravakov jumped out to an early 3-love lead over Ashley Brooks in the first set, but the Bermuda number 1 player, Brooks, fought back to take the first set 7-5. Brooks would take a 4-1 lead in the second set and hung on to take the title and the $2,000 winning purse with a second set victory of 6-4. The Bermuda National Athletics Association have 10 coaches going through their paces with IAAF coach Roy Thomas. We got a chance to sit down with Thomas to explain what it is he's hoping to accomplish with these 10 coaches for a 2-week period.
The enthusiasm, the attendance, the punctuality, all I would score at A's so far. This course is the new level 1 coaching course, and so it will expose the participants to all the events of track and field. And in addition to the previous level 1 course, they will be learning how to plan training in terms of the workloads. Formerly, it was an introduction to the events, and so they would be prepared to train or to coach at, say, up to about age 12. But now with this additional component, they can plan the training for student athletes up to about age 16.
Now, what I've noticed over this week, because I've been here a few days, but they're getting multiple different training elements put in. You've done sprints, you've done hurdles. Day like today, you're doing obviously long jump and triple jump. Is that a new tactic to get the coaches multitask as far as, because some coaches are specialized, but is this a new task to get when you're dealing with the youth to get them multitask?
Well, this is the objective of the level 1 course, to expose all the coaches to all the events of track and field, because these are junior coaches now for the most part, and so they'll be working with student athletes who don't even know which event is best suited for them. So if the coach now has this ability to teach all the events, then a person who may think that, well, I'm a great distance runner, because you have great distance runners here, may find that no, you're better suited for another event. And right now in the Caribbean, Usain Bolt is a big name, so everybody wants to be a sprinter. That's my case at home, and so when you look at them, you say, no, you have some speed, but maybe you're better suited for some jumping events or maybe some throwing events, rather than sprinting. So that's what we want to do, expose the coaches to all the elements so that they can help the student athletes decide what is best suited for them.
What does next week have in store for these coaches?
Well, other events now. So we're looking at the pole vault, high jump, javelin, and most of the throws, because those are the ones left to come, some middle distance and race walking.
Now, as you've already said, Bermuda's known for having some good middle distance runners. How does coaches identify what athletes will be suited for whatever events? Like you said, how do you identify that?
All right. So there are some things that we will look for. Part of the course exposes the athlete, the coaches, to some anatomy, some physiology, and the energy systems that drive the body. So we may look at an athlete and say, okay, do a standing long jump for me, or a standing vertical jump. And we might find that this one, this guy here really can jump very high. So that would give us an indication of that person having a predominance of fast twitch fibers. So such a person would be more suited for those dynamic events, the sprints, the jumps, and the throws. You may conduct a little test. Let us say we're going to run 400 meters. And you find that some die off very early and some are very strong towards the end of it. So again, that gives an indication of the suitability of such an athlete. More suited for the one who die off early, maybe for sprints, whereas the others may be middle distance and long distance.
Bermuda's not unique because probably Jamaica have the same problem, but we have multi-talented athletes in the sport of track and field, where they'll be a good sprinter, they're a good jumper, they have various good attributes in various different events. When should one be looking at identifying what one particular event that youngster should go through, and what age bracket should we be looking to identify them and turning them to that one particular event?
Right. In the initial stages, we are exposing them to almost everything. And then as we go on, approaching puberty and so on, now the body is changing and so towards the 14, 15, we may start introducing some sort of specialization work. And certainly by about 16, they should be specializing in the event that best suited for them. By that time, the coach should be able to identify what is the best event for this particular child.
41 youngsters took to the Great Sound for the Renri Junior Gold Cup over the weekend. Let's get how the Bermuda athletes, and the first time a girl has ever won the overall tournament, let's see how it all unfolded. On the final day of racing in the Renaissance Re Junior Gold Cup, 13-year-old from St. Thomas, Maya Nikolowski, was the first ever female winner of the event. Second place went to Adrienne Socorro from Switzerland, while Germany's Rocco Mora finished in third. And now, how the Bermuda sailors fared in the event. Finishing in seventh place was Azari Smith with 102 net points. Christian Eben was 11th overall with 118 net points. Jordan Imadi was 14th overall with 143 net points. Sebastian Kemp was 16th with 177 net points. Micah Thomas Rayner was 18th with 186 net points. Aiden Lopes was 22nd overall with 202 net points. Magnus Ringstead was 23rd with 231 net points. Finishing 24th overall was Ryan Gettery McDonald with 235 net points. Jack Hilbenbrand was 25th overall with 276 points. Lyle Walker was 26th with 278 net points, with Jacob Pimentel 27th with 296 net points. Nicholas Bridges was 28th with 317 points, and with 325 points was Christopher Adderley in 29th. Thomas Evans was 30th with 329 points. Genevieve Lau was in 32nd with 350 points. Peter Komposh was 33rd with 354 points. Laura Hopman was 34th with 361 points, while Farcha McDonald was 35th with 367 net points. Nicole Stovall was 36th with 381 net points, while Jack Roberts was 37th with 403 net points. With 406 net points was Cole Summers in 38th. 39th was Sky Oliveira with 408 points. With 447 net points was Jacob Hodder in 40th place, and in 41st was Gianni Santucci with 450 net points. Well, Bermuda's little engine that could. Jessica Lewis finished first as the female wheelchair competitor in the Niagara Falls half marathon. Jessica Lewis, Bermuda's Paralympian, competed in the Niagara Falls half marathon, where she recorded a personal best time. Lewis covered the 21.1 K, stopping the clock in 1:05:25. Lewis was the first female in the wheelchair category and 11th overall. Well, we're just about a week away, Jay, from the start of the 2016 World Rugby Classic. Behind us, all the things put in place, the work is being done to put things in place for the Classic, which has been one of the highlights of the rugby in Bermuda's feature for a number of years.
Yeah, I got to say big hats off to not only the sponsors, but all the organizers and also the National Sports Center. This has been the venue for actually the inception of this Classic, and you've seen it grow and grow and grow and grow. The amount of work that gets put in behind the scenes, Earl, is unbelievable. But the entertainment that you get on the field, and one thing I've noticed for all the years is the players that come here, they want to entertain. So whether it be the New Zealanders doing the rituals, yeah, you know exactly what I'm talking about. Whether it be the Australians doing what they do, there's always an entertainment feel here when they come up here to the Classic at the National Sports Center.
Well, you know, Jay, the work that is put in here at the National Sports Center for the sport of rugby, let's now look at the fact that a women's national team has been selected for the Ran Sevens that will take place in Trinidad, and the Renegades Founders Day matches took place at the Sports Center on Sunday. The 2016 Ran Sevens rugby competition will take place on November 12th and 13th in Trinidad and Tobago. The Bermuda Rugby Football Union have announced the Bermuda women's national team who will face Canada, Cayman, Jamaica, and Turks and Caicos. The Bermuda national team will consist of Corey Cross, Gillian Cross, Gemma Godfrey, Erica MacArthur, Laura Macmillan, Kelly Newsom, Haley Place, Lauren Rothwell, Liza Marie Santana, Amanda Swan, Mika Tamita, and Cherise Woodley. The Bermuda Rugby Football Union's league season took a back seat as the Renegades Rugby Football Club Founders Day matches took place at the National Sports Center on Sunday. The Renegades women's first team defeated the rest 4-2. The Renegades got a hat trick from Rachel Jenkins and a single try from Laura Mulligan, while Joe Murray and Amanda Swan scored a try each for the rest. The Renegades women's second team got tries from Nikki Pally and Laura Fitzsimmons as they defeated the rest 2-0. The Renegades men's first 15 defeated the Bermuda National 15 39-14. The Renegades got 2 tries from Charles Craig and Jamie Bond, while Paul Kelly and Tom Healy added a try each. Richard Cumbers kicked 3 conversions and 1 penalty. The Bermuda National 15 got a try each from Andre Bolotenko and Antonio Parentchief, while Dan Cole kicked 2 conversions. Well, in the distance behind us, Jay, is the Cedar Bridge Academy, and on Saturday night, it was the scene of a doubleheader in the Island Basketball League. Let's get that report. The Island Basketball League season resumed inside the Cedar Bridge Academy Gymnasium on Saturday night with a doubleheader that saw 246 points scored on the night. The defending champions Flyboys went down to the Rimrockers, picking up their second loss of the season, 64-54, and now have a record of 1-2 on the season, while the Rimrockers moved to 2-1. Chris Harwood recorded a IBL career high, 27 points for the Rimrockers, while the Flyboys were led by last season's MVP Kieran Birches with 23 points. In Game 2 of the night, it saw the Tsunamis defeat the Crossfire Ballers 73-55. Veteran Johnny Lugo scored a game-high 27 points and helped his team, the Tsunamis, to remain unbeaten on the season at 3-0. Ian Leam scored 18 points for the Crossfire Ballers, who are now 0-2 on the new season. On Saturday evening, Jay, over at the National Equestrian Center on Vesey Street, was another night of high-flying action as the Bermuda Harness racing season continued. The National Equestrian Center was the scene of some high-flying action as the Bermuda Harness pony racing season continued on Saturday night. Tyler Lopes in the bike of Google Me won Heat 1 of the 1:10-1 and slower time bar class with a time of 1:16-1. Rock On and Zeno Cooper in the bike finished second in a time of 1:13 flat. War Machine and Kaiwan Waldron won Heat 1 of the 1:10 and slower time bar class with a time of 1:15-1. David Lopes in the bike of LA Ermatime finished second in 1:15-4. And Something Royal with Andrea Westerfield finished third with a time of 1:16-3. In Heat 1 of the 105 to 106 time bar class, saw Andy Stoneham in the bike of Costa the Dragon cross the line first in a time of 1:12 and 1, and a touch of red with Ryan Manders in the bike finished second in a time of 1:12 and 2. The 1:08 and 2 to 1:10 and 2 time bar class saw Park Ranger with Andrea Westerfield in the bike finished first with a time of 1:08 and 2. G.I. Jane and Maurice Rayner finished second in a time of 1:09 and 4. And Major Medical and Zeno Cooper finished third in a time of 1:13 and 1.
Why choose Digicel Prepaid? Well, you get free social media usage, which means you can use Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and WhatsApp for free without it affecting your data allowance. And for all your other online activity, we have the cheapest prepaid data in Bermuda. Digicel, best choice for prepaid.
2016 Senior Netball League season got underway with the Sylvia Eastley tournament down at Bernard Park on Saturday night. The Bermuda Netball Association 2016 winter season finally got underway with the Sylvia Easterly tournament at the Bernard Park following a 2-week delay. The senior division has 6 teams this year, with the Blaze in Phoenix, coached by Angela Edwards. The North Village Lady Rams is coached by Nicole Smith, while the Phoenix Flames are coached by Erica Russell, who also is coaching the Phoenix Heat. Robin Hood Ladies are coached by Letta Simpson, and the Storm are coached by Gina Benjamin. 2 teams ended the opening day undefeated, including the Phoenix Heat and Storm. The second half of the tournament that began on Saturday will resume on November 12th. Game 1 saw the Storm defeat the Blazing Phoenix 12-8. The Robin Hood Ladies defeated the North Village Lady Rams 13-9. The Phoenix Heat defeated the Phoenix Flames 14-3. Robin Hood Ladies went down 13-10 to the Blazing Phoenix. The Storm got by the Phoenix Flames 18-3. And the Phoenix Heat defeated the North Village Lady Rams 11-8. Jay, on Sunday, the top 2 women's team in hockey, the Ravens and the Budgies, took center stage Sunday afternoon. Let's get to see how that match turned out. In women's field hockey play, the Budgies defeated the Ravens 3-1. The Budgies took a 1-0 lead in the 12th minute when Jasmine Patterson scored from a penalty corner. Keisha Robinson doubled the Budgies' lead in the 14th minute, also connecting from a penalty corner. Fiona Bradwood pulled a goal back for the Ravens when she scored from a penalty corner in the 19th minute, but Robinson would restore the Budgies' 2-goal lead when she scored her second penalty corner goal of the game in the 22nd minute to make that final score 3-1.
It can be difficult choosing the right amount of data to fit your life. With Data Test Drive from Digicel, you can. Take us for a spin with any postpaid smartphone plan, and we'll give you all-you-can-use data for the first 3 months of your agreement. When you come to the end of your 3 months, we'll let you know if you need more data on your plan and give you the option to increase your data allowance. Plus, our postpaid plans now include unlimited international SMS and increased international long-distance minutes. Digicel. Be extraordinary.
Earlier in the show, Jay, you alluded to a fact that you wanted to find out from Flora Duffy herself, where did she get all the energy from? Well, we have a chance, because I got a chance to speak with Bermuda's Olympian and triathlon world champion, Flora Duffy. Well, first of all, thank you very much, Flora Duffy, for joining me here. One of the first questions is, where does one like you get that much energy from to not only compete over 3 days, but to sustain yourself throughout this wonderful year that you've had?
Yeah, it's been a really big year and sort of exceeded all of my expectations. And yeah, I actually also wonder where I got the sort of energy and motivation to keep going, because you're under basically high pressure from the start of the season till the end, which was basically yesterday. So I think I have a great support network, which really helps me, keeps me focused and motivated, and emotionally supports me. There's definitely been a few breakdowns this year, but I guess the success, you just sort of keep rolling with it, and I guess success sort of feeds more success, and you're then more dedicated to commit to the swim, bike, run, and get rid of all the other sort of details in your life.
Before the year started, you had to make several commitments to yourself, sacrifices and all, and your ultimate goal was to be number one. What were some of those sacrifices that you had to make throughout leading up to the year and then over the course of the year to be the world number one female triathlete?
Yeah, I mean, I try not to view it as sacrifices, and I sort of got this little tagline from Gwen Jorgensen. It's more like investments, into your career. And, by that, it means really focusing in on your training and being present and giving your most at each session, and each key session, really being in tune with what is going on and what the goal of each training session is. But yeah, there's been a few big things that have helped this year. Is one, staying injury free, and I've been fortunate enough to being able to have massage treatment once a week, which really helps prevent injury. And yeah, I don't know, it's just a accumulation of many things, and just keeping it very simple: swim, bike, run, rest, recovery, eat, and saying no to social engagements. And I've just been very lucky to have the support that I have. Big thanks to Tokyo Millennium, with them investing in me. That has allowed me to really, I guess, achieve my goals this year, and yeah, it's pretty cool.
Why choose Digicel Prepaid? Well, you get free social media usage, which means you can use Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and WhatsApp for free without it affecting your data allowance. And for all your other online activity, we have the cheapest prepaid data in Bermuda. Digicel, best choice for prepaid.
When you start your first race in, let's say January, or the season, and you're finishing top 4, then it's top 3, then it's 2, and then it's 1, looking to improve on that, what are you doing, and what are you saying to yourself each race to finish that one spot higher?
Yeah, I don't think there's one specific thing. It's just every time you go into one of these races, they're so competitive. You literally don't know what the outcome can be. And I think you saw in the women's racing this year is that the podium was never the same. It was always, a certain pool of women, but, there's so many strong women that, I really had to make the race play out to my strengths. And that was having a hard swim bike, and then coming off the bike with a little bit of a lead. And I don't really know exactly how it worked out. I think I had a bit of luck on my side. But yeah, just racing aggressively, and I think that really paid off. Sometimes it can backfire, but just sticking to my guns, sticking to my race plan, and it all unfolded how I wanted it to.
You've always been known for being one of the strongest cyclists on the triathlon circuit. Your swim has come leaps and bounds. What are some of the things you worked on to make that one of your strong points? Because you need that, as you said, that lead from the strong swim and bike to get that push on the run.
Right. I think, having a strong swim really sets up your race nicely. I think there's a couple of things. One, it's just years of being consistent swimming. I think also I do a pretty big block of swimming December, January, a lot of big swim sessions, and that just sort of gives me a nice base to then work off for the rest of the season. And a lot of it is getting out. The first, 100, 200 meters of the race are probably the most crucial to get out into clear water or to get onto the feet of some of the faster swimmers. So a lot of high intensity, fast swimming. I do a lot in training. But then also the higher you're ranked, or I should say the lower you're ranked, the better start position you get, because you get to choose where you'd like to start. And so suddenly you have pole position. And for me, I can start on one of the far ends and have some clear water and, start in the place where it works the most advantage with the currents, then those little things all add up and really, really help.
How much of the success, winning the bronze medal at the Pan Am Games, catapulted you to drive you to win the triathlon championship?
Yeah, I think 2015 was probably a really big year for me, because that was the first year I did start I had a couple podiums in the World Triathlon Series, and I won that bronze medal at Pan Am's. And so that was actually a harder year for me to deal with all the emotions and such that come with having those sorts of performances. But I think it just showed me that, hey, this is possible. Like, you're just keep on doing what you're doing. That's the thing, just being consistent and really investing in your training, and things will start to pay off. And I guess it did. It's just my confidence grew, and it's just sort of a snowball effect, one thing after another, and before you know it, you're number one in the world.
But a perfect snowball.
Yes, yeah. A lot of things had to line up and really come together. So I think it'll be hard to build off of. I can build off of this year, but to have another as successful year, I think would be quite hard, and it's almost normal. It's hard to sustain this sort of level, but I think it's all about being consistent with my performances next year, and then as we get closer to Tokyo, really building up again, and hopefully.
Now, your friendship and kind of relationship with Gwen, how much of that, because at times you get to train together, but how much of that drives you both? Because she's known as the gold medalist, but you're known as the world champion. So how much of that, when you're training together, do you kind of rub the competitiveness off each other?
Yeah, I think it's been quite interesting. I've been friends with Gwen for a few years now, and I guess when we first met, she was obviously the best in the world, and I was somewhere in the mix, but not really a threat to her. And so it's just interesting to see how my career has developed, and our friendship has stayed the same. And it's great when we race against each other, because we sort of bring out the best in one another, because our strengths, we have different strengths. She's a very strong runner, so then I have to push the other two portions of the triathlon, and then she in turn has helped me improve my running, because I had to raise the bar if I wanted to be in the mix. And so, but she's had to improve her cycling, and it's a very interesting time in women's triathlon. The dynamic is changing, and you just have to be strong across the board, which it's really great. The level's so high.
Heading to Cozumel, you know what you have to do to be number one. Flying in, what goes through your mind? Because it's way before the race. It's that emotional time, because you're soul searching, and it's a bit of nerves.
Yeah, I think it's funny, after the Olympics, I feel like that was so much expectation and pressure, that once the Olympics was done, it was like one layer of pressure and expectation was just removed. And so I actually went into Cozumel feeling pretty calm. I don't know, it's because I knew what I had to do, and it was high stakes, but somehow I had this sort of just sense of calmness to it all. Even though I had some pretty hectic travel, my bike actually broke on the way there, and so luckily I had a spare bike that somebody else was coming from Boulder the next day, and they brought it, and so there was a bit of chaos leading into the race, but that must help you take my mind off of it. And I don't know, you just know what you have to do, and my racing style, you just race hard from gun to tape, and whatever happens, and you just hope you get a couple good people along the way to help on the bike. And it was a pretty incredible moment just to cross that line with the Bermuda flag and win that world title.
Now, you just arrived last night, so this is the first time you're getting to see your name on the wall 3 times. What goes through your mind when you get to see all those names that have come before you, and now you're on here 3 times?
Yeah, it's really special, it's I don't know if it sounds bad, but I didn't realize, how many people that I actually do know had gone to an Olympics, maybe 20 years ago, and seeing their names on this wall, it's really cool and special. And I'm very thankful that it's up here. It's educating me, and it just sort of fills you with Bermudian pride to have your name, engraved here, saying that you went to the Olympics, and it's special.
Last question, but how much pressure would you be putting on yourself to defend that world title come next year?
Oh geez, I haven't really even thought about that. No, I don't think there will be too much pressure on me to do it. It's it's so hard to stay consistent throughout the whatever 8 or so races that we do around the world, that for me the goal of next year probably won't be going in to solely defend, but to race consistently, which is what my goal was this year, and that just sort of ended up being number one. So no, there won't be big pressure. I think I'm just going to enjoy the moment as being announced before every race as the current world champion. Like that's a very, very special and very cool thing. So I'll just enjoy that moment and just race as aggressively and hard as I had all year.
I did say that was the last question, but before you get on the podium and they announce you as the world champion, what emotion goes through you?
Yeah, it was very surreal. Like I hadn't been able to fully, take it all in and comprehend what had just happened, because, you cross the line and then you just, obviously there's lots of cameras in your face, and then you're doing interviews and a lot of people are asking you for selfies and to sign this and talking to you, and it's just like this whirlwind of like, what is going on here? But then you have a quiet moment behind the podium and they announce your name, and then you listen to the anthem and you see the flag, and yeah, it's just it's hard for me to
tear up. And
I didn't tear up this time. I mean, I think I have definitely in the past, but I think I was just so like what is going on here? You're exhausted from the race, but then the adrenaline from winning, and it's just a wild mix of emotions.
Well, we want to say welcome back home, Flora Duffy, triathlon world champion.
Yeah, thank you. It's great to be back.
It can be difficult choosing the right amount of data to fit your life. With Data Test Drive from Digicel, you can. Take us for a spin with any postpaid smartphone plan, and we'll give you all you can use data for the first 3 months of your agreement. When you come to the end of your 3 months, we'll let you know if you need more data on your plan and give you the option to increase your data allowance. Plus, our postpaid plans now include unlimited international SMS and increased international long distance minutes. Digicel. Be extraordinary.
Well, there you have it from Flora Duffy, Jay. A good show, words of encouragement for youngsters, just a positive attitude from someone who back in 2008 was considering her options whether or not she wanted to continue because it was disappointment for her at the Olympics.
And that's the thing with sport, you're going to have the ups and downs, but they say the greatest success is getting up after your fall. So to see Flora getting up and thriving and on the world stage, it's amazing what she's been able to do with her career so far. And I'm saying so far because she's still not finished yet.
Well, that's it from us here. I'm your host, Earl Baisden. Once again, thank you, and we'll see you next show.